My Hero Academia is an anime series that people used to like until the next big shiny new shonen came out because anime fans are about as fickle as they come. I still like it though, and thankfully anime opinions are not what we do on this channel, though I like to sneak them in where I can. My Hero has a few games to its name. To be honest, there's actually a lot less than you'd expect there to be given its popularity at one point in time. But despite the low number, they do have trophies, and so rank them I must. It is literally in my contract, I don't have a choice. Before we start though, some things to note. First, all these games have at least a few online related trophies, some more than others, and naturally depending on when you play, you're likely to have a very different experience based on how dead the online is. For the sake of the video, we're just going to assume there's always enough people to play online, just because that was my experience at the time that I was going for these at launch. But I still wanted to mention it in case people figure it's still easy now, because it's likely not as easy now to find a game. I think that's the only bit of admin that I need to do, so we'll start with the easiest My Hero game, which is... the first My Hero Academia game that was released, at least that has trophies. I gotta cover my bases, there's probably some mobile something that come out beforehand. It's My Hero 1's Justice. Before we get to the main point, I just want to say, what is up with the official English titles being just My Hero instead of My Hero Academia? All the games are like this, that's not the name of the series, why are you doing this, Bamco? I know this is probably an uber-specific thing that annoys literally only me, but it's my video and I'm going to mention it. Comment if it bothers you as well, or at least makes you raise an eyebrow. Anyway, onto the game itself. It's a 3D anime arena fighter which, yes, daring today, aren't we? Can't say it does anything particularly noteworthy to expand on the genre, it's pretty much business as usual. If you've played one of these games, you have a good idea what this will be like. For trophies, I think they're mostly fine. I won't go into super detail on all of them, as some of are just like beating the story, which is not difficult. It's probably the first thing you're gonna do when you start the game. Mission mode needs you to A rank all the maps, not too bad once you have leveled characters, but looking at my trophy times, I apparently did it on my first pass of each, so go me I guess. You also need to get a combined level of 500, which is just a case of replaying until you get a lot of characters leveled. Not hard, just takes a bit. There's trophies for doing certain moves and mechanics multiple times, which is pretty common for fighting games, like use a certain amount of specials, stuff like that. You can absolutely play against the second controller to grind these out faster, though if you fight against the AI that also works, just thought I'd mention that little trick. Like I said, there's online trophies, not a lot, but some. Specifically fighting 30 online matches. That's right, fight, not win, which, thank God, turns this into me not needing to lean in and I can instead relax in my chair. The main grind for this game is for getting customization items. You need 400 player items, 450 character items, and 100 titles. There's a lot of ways to get these. There's just the normal buy them in the shop, with in-game currency crucially, not real money because that would be bad and lame, so luckily they didn't do that. But there's also S-ranking the story missions, and doing their extra task will also get you customization stuff. This is typically like KO enemies with a special, don't lose a certain amount of health, real simple things like that. Player items are a bit more of a pain. These are tied to in-game tasks like play and win as each character a number of times, defeat a character a number of times, playing a number of matches online, and so on and so forth. As I said, doing these is the biggest grind, but by the time you get to this part, you can focus specifically on what you need to get the items one by one, and you will eventually get enough. It took me about 40 hours according to the PlayStation, though I would probably imagine at least a few of them are just me leaving the console on while going to eat dinner or something to that effect. I'm just saying that because that's higher than the guide's estimated time and I don't want people to think I'm bad. Being the sequel to the previous game, it is very similar. Like, extremely similar. Just add a few more characters and a couple modes. And the trophies follow suit with this. There are some additions and changes, but it is a very similar list overall to the first game. So in the interest of saving us all a bit of time, I'm not going to repeat the same points again, just know that a lot of it is very similar. The biggest new addition is probably arcade mode. It works how you'd expect. You pick a character and then go up against enemies one by one until you win against all of them, with fun little interactions breaking up the fights. Each character has 3 routes they can do, and for trophies you need to complete 50 routes total. Not hard, just takes a little bit. Should probably mention that there are DLC characters as well that you don't need to do for the platinum, but obviously this can change how many you need to do for certain characters. Customization items are a bit different from the first game, as they can now drop from every match you do, and so what you can do for a trick is set the AI difficulty to high in free match mode and just let them kill you quickly to grind out the customization items. Though worth remembering, make sure you do this last so you get as much as you can from doing other stuff as well. I remember mission mode in this game being harder and more involved than the first, due to how characters are unlocked as an example, but overall you need to do similar things. Beat the mode, cumulative level 500. Some of the higher levels especially, I do have memories of being butt and making me very annoyed, but as always, it's nothing that can't be overcome by the power of getting good. I know that it seems like I've barely talked about the second game, and I do feel a bit bad, so I will say that this was an improvement on the first. There's more to do, more characters, and DLC for characters that arguably should have been in the game already, but that's business, baby. Platinum-wise, this is very much more of the same, plus a little extra on top, which is why it's ranked higher. It also took me about 30 hours longer to platinum according to the old PlayStation, which doesn't sound right, but I guess it is. The modes do generally take longer, and I'm going to go for that being the reason why, and not me being even worse than before. That couldn't be it. I mean, yeah, of course it is. At time of writing, this game has a 0.17% completion rate, meaning that only 0.17% of people that have played the game have all the trophies. Except actually that's not true, it's a lot rarer than that even suggests. You see, that 0.17% is from PSN profiles, so it's not counting everyone that's played the game on PlayStation, it's only counting those that have PSN profiles accounts. Now, this is a trophy hunting website. Most people on here are actively going for trophies and platinums and whatnot, and still only 0.17% of those people have all the trophies. And I'll say up front, I am not in that percentage. But why though? What makes this game so much harder than the others? Well, to start, it's a completely different type of game, which, good, we can get more creative than just your shonen arena fighters, there's too many of them. This one is a battle royale, which means you will mostly be up against other people, but the game does stick bots in to fill the game up if needed, which is something every game should do, so I'll at least give them points for that. As sort of a general thing, I'll say that this is the game where you have the least control over getting the trophies, in the sense that the others are mostly offline, where you can get good against the AI and learn how to control them and whatnot. This one is entirely online. I hope you don't get matched up with a tryhard who's really good at the game. From all that, you might be able to tell this is not my sort of game, which is definitely playing a role into this ranking here, but also other people have said it took them over 1,000 hours to get all the trophies, so actually I think the placement is more than justified. So what do the trophies actually entail? Well, to sum them up very basically, you need to do a few things, but you need to do those few things a lot. As an example, you need to KO 300 opponents and win 100 ranked matches. I can't say much more other than just be good so you win. They're just things you're going to be doing by playing the game anyway. You don't need to go out of your way to know you should be winning the game. In fact, they're all kind of like this. Reach pro rank, level up to 50, get an A+ ranking in 200 games. My lord, that's insane. I am not good enough for that. But that's just it, right? It's a skill issue on my part. This game and its trophies are designed to keep you playing it pretty much indefinitely. This is not a game you can just bust out the trophies in a month and then move on. They want to keep you, and I think the inflated numbers in the trophies are designed for this. I do find that interesting. It happens a lot with free games, not all of them, but the amount of them that do have these sort of massive time sink trophies is certainly notable. The rarest trophy certainly follows this philosophy. It's for getting 1 million agency points, which is a lot. This isn't a case of easily getting like 10k in one go, so it won't take long even with the big number. Nope, this one just takes ages. There's no way to speed it up, you just need to play your dailies, weeklies and so on. You know, the stuff that has a finite amount per day. You can't just play a lot of games because eventually you'll just run out of stuff that gives you the agency points. Like I said, they want to keep you playing a long time. I don't know if I've managed to do justice the amount of time this game takes. Like I said earlier, 1,000 hours some people were saying. I don't think any game has ever took me more than, I'm going to be generous and say 300 hours to platinum. If you have done this one, you're a mad lad and a more dedicated person than I. And that's my list. Have you got any of these, and do you agree with any of my takes? I'd love to know that and more in the comments, and while you're down there, press like if you liked it, and also press subscribe too. It's free, helps me out, and gives you easier access to my videos, both old and new. They're all achievement and trophy related, so stick around if you like that kind of thing. And also give me other series you'd like me to take a look at so I can add them to my never-ending wall of games. We all have one, I am no different. Thank you for watching. For now though, I'm off, hunt them troves, and I'll see you next time.